In continuation of the previous class. Hope I am audible. Am I audible? Okay, fine. So in the previous class, we have seen uh, different basics of machine learning. We have seen how to recognize the task, performance measure, and training experience in case of different problems under machine learning. So in today's class, we'll see how to design a learning system. Okay, there are five steps here. First, you have to choose the training experience. Then you have to choose a target function. Then a representation for a target function. Then you have to choose a function approximation algorithm. Lastly, the final result will come. Okay. So first we will see these five steps one by one. So first step, designing a learning system. So here, first we have to choose the training experience. Yeah. So training experience means what here? To design anything, first you have to choose what is the training, what is the performance, and what is the experience. TPE. Those three things you have to choose. That is the first step. So to design, we face to choose the type of training experience from which our system will learn. So we have some key attributes here. By using those key attributes, we will design our training experience. First key attribute is whether the training experience provides direct or indirect feedback regarding the choices made by the performance system. Here, direct or indirect feedback means in some cases there are some direct feedbacks for getting the experience. For some, there will be indirect feedback. So direct feedback means, say for example, in whenever we will be taking the feedback from the students about the class, if you tell directly to the teacher, that is direct feedback. Indirect feedback means you are telling to some other person about the feedback, about the class feedback. So that is indirect. Okay, so like this, there in different situations for different problems, there will be direct feedbacks and indirect feedbacks. Okay. Second attribute is training experience is the degree to which the learner controls the sequence of training examples. So, for example, learner might rely on the teacher to select informative board states and to provide the correct move for each. This is in case of what? Checkers problem. Okay. Sometimes what the learner do, he will rely on teacher. He will ask the teacher to select the next move. Okay, information. How we actually do is based on the board state. In what state the board is, based on that we will choose the appropriate move, next move. Okay, so in this case, what happens? The learner will rely on teacher. Here, teacher means the one who is working with that particular system. The learner means computer system. The computer system may rely on the teacher, that is the developer, to select the next move. Okay, then uh, learner might itself propose board states that it finds particularly confusing and ask the teacher for the correct move. Sometimes what happens, it may choose itself. Sometimes it will ask the teacher to do it. Sometimes it will do the task by itself. So there will be a control. There will be a control on the sequence of training examples. Got it? Second attribute, the control can be gained by learner. How much degree of control the particular system has of the learner. That is second attribute. Third attribute is what? The training experience is how well it represents the distribution of examples over which the final system performance P must be measured. How well it represents the distribution of examples over which the final system performance P must be measured. Okay. In general, if you say learning is most reliable when training examples follow distribution similar to that the future test examples. Okay, if you have trained a particular system using some examples, when the new example comes, that is what we call future test examples. That is new example. If for the future test examples, if classifies it correctly, then what is a correct system? It is well distributed. So the examples are distributed properly, we say. So in checkers game, what happens? In this learning scenario, performance metric, that is P, is the percent of games the system wins in the world tournament. Percent of games the system wins in the world tournament. If its training experience E consists only of games played against itself, there is an obvious danger that the training experience might not be fully representative of the distribution of situations. Got it? In the sense what? When you are training the system, if the system is trained only by playing the games against itself, then if it is playing with the opponent, some other opponent, there is an obvious chance of failure or it may lose the game. If it has played many world class games, world tournaments with the other opponents, then there are the chances that it may win. Okay, so like this, we have to choose the training experience based on the different attributes. So in case of checkers problem, we have decided these things already. What is the task, what is the performance measure, and what is the training experience. What was the task here? Playing the checkers game. Our performance measure is percent of games won in the world tournament now. So attribute is changed, right? So before this, we have taken percent of games won against itself. Okay, percent of games won in the world tournament now. What is the training experience here? Games played against itself. That is the what do you say? Training experience. How many games it has played against itself and how many times it has won. So in order to complete this design of the learning system, we must now choose the exact type of knowledge to be learned, a presentation for this target knowledge, and a learning mechanism. That is the next thing. That is next step, choosing the target function. To represent this, we need to choose some target function. So this to determine exactly what type of knowledge will be learned and how this will be used by the performance program. So we'll begin with the checkers playing the program itself. It can generate the legal move from any board state. So there will be some legal moves and there will be some best moves. Illegal moves are not possible. Legal moves means moving the correctly. Best move means which will win the game. Okay. The program needs only to learn how to choose the best move from among these legal moves. There will be many legal moves. Among those legal moves, we have to choose the best one, which may lead to win the game in the checkers problem. So, given this setting, where we must learn to choose among the legal moves, the most obvious choice for the type of information to be learned is a program or function that chooses the best move for any given board state. Let us call this function as choose move. So we are deciding the target function here. So we call this target function as choose move and use the notation choose move. Choose move, that is what the way to write the function. Choose move colon b implies yum. So what is b here? So we indicate this as function that accepts input any board. So b for board here and yum for move, legal move. So any board from the set of legal board states B and produces as output some move from the set of legal moves M. So this function will turn out to be very difficult to learn given the kind of indirect training experience available to our system. If the training system is if the experience is if you are getting it in indirect way, so this particular function representation will be somewhat difficult. Some alternative target function that will turn out to be easier to learn in this setting. So we have to take here as an evaluation function that assigns a numerical score to any given board state. Okay, just choose move is not a correct way here. If there are some indirect training, if it has taken, then that should be evaluated. There must be some evaluation function. So let us call this target function V and again use the notation V colon V implies R. So here V maps any legal board state from the set of B from the set B to some real value. So this R is nothing but real value that tends to real value. If the system can successfully learn such a target function V, then it position. So there will be some legal moves. Among those legal moves, we have to choose the best one that we have to choose. If by generating successor board state produced by every legal move, then using V to choose the best successor state and therefore the best legal move. We will denote it like this. How to denote it? If B is a final board state, if B is a final board state that is on, then we will denote it as V of B is equals to 100. It will be its value will be 100. The value of V will be will evaluate it to 100. Why? It is a final board state. The chance of winning is more, so 100. If B is a final board state that is lost, okay, we're losing the game for a particular move, we are losing a game here, then the value of V will be what? Then minus 100. We are losing it, so minus 100. If B is a final board state that is draw match will be drawn here, then it will be 0. Value of V will be 0. In the fourth case, if B is not a final state in the game, then V of B is equals to V of B dash. What is this B dash? It is the best final board state that can be achieved starting from B and playing optimally until the end of the game, assuming the opponent plays optimally as well. In the sense what? It is based on the final board state. Okay, B dash is the best final board state that can be achieved starting from B. B is what? It's a predecessor. Okay, B dash is successor. Sorry, B dash is predecessor, whereas B is successor. Okay, based on the previous moves, based on previously whatever the opponent has played, based on that particular experience, the next move will be done. That is not the end of the game. We are in between of the game. The first three are the end of the game, whereas the fourth one is in between the game. Okay. If it is the final board state, then 100 is its value. If it is lost, then it is minus 100. If the game is drawn, then V of B is 0. If B is not a final state, then it is not a final board state in the game. It is in between. Then we have to take the best value, the best final board state that can be achieved from B, that can be achieved starting from B. That is previous move. Based on the previous move, next move has to be taken. So if you have played chess game, it is similar to that. Checkers game is similar to chess game, chess or checkers we can say. Okay. In the chess game, you do this in the same way. What the opponent has played, based on that only you will make your next move. That is what we are doing in the fourth step. Next step here is choosing a representation for the target function. We have written a target function now. V is equals to B implies R. Okay. So now we have to choose a representation for this. So we have specified the ideal target function V. We must choose a representation that the learning program will use to describe the function V that it will learn. As in the earlier design choices, we again have many options. We could do, for example, allow the program to represent V using a large table with a distinct entry. That is what the four states, whatever we have taken in the previous slide. Using these, we can decide the target function. Or else, we could allow to represent V using a collection of rules that match against the features of the board state, or a quadratic polynomial function also we can take. Just to represent the target function, we can use anything here. We can use a polynomial, quadratic polynomial function, or else we can use a artificial neural network. Anything is possible. So representation of target function here means representing it in a correct form. So simple representation we will take here to have it. So we will use the polynomial. Okay, two options are were there for us: polynomial function, and another one is artificial neural network. Since you are not familiar with artificial neural network, we will go for polynomial function. So for any given board state, the function V will be calculated as linear combination of the following board states. There can be 5 or 6 board states possible. Okay. The first state is x1, the number of black pieces on the board. How many number of black pieces are there on the board? Second is the number of red pieces on the board. How many red pieces are there? X2. There is X3 here. Don't confuse with it. This is X3. Okay. The number of black kings on the board. How many black is the number of black pieces threatened by red. That is, which can be captured on red's next turn. You can understand this. And the x6 is the number of red pieces threatened by black. Similar to this, which can be captured on black's next turn. Okay, got it? 6 possible combinations. One is how many number of black pieces. Second is how many number of red pieces. Third is number of black kings. Fourth is number of red kings. Fifth is number of black pieces threatened by red. And sixth is number of red pieces threatened by black. So these 6 combinations we have taken here. Using these six combinations, we have to represent a polynomial. So our polynomial will be like this: V of B, okay, W naught plus W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus W3 x3 plus W4 x4 plus W5 x5 plus W6 x6. Where here W naught to W6 are numerical coefficients, or we can say them as weights to be chosen by the learning algorithm. So if you are writing an algorithm to predict what will be V of B based on these x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. Then you have to give the inputs of for W0 to W6. Okay. So learned values for the weights W1 through W6. These will determine the relative importance of the various board features in determining the value of the board. Whereas weight W0 will provide additive constant to the board. Okay. If the values of W0 to W6 will be given, we can easily write an algorithm to predict what shall be the next move, what will be the numerical value for the next move. Okay. So, based on these, let us design a partial design for checkers learning program. Till now, whatever we have done, we are doing it on checkers problem only. So, we have designed, we have finalized the task, we have finalized the P, we have finalized the experience. Then we have written a target function v tends to r. Then we have designed the target function representation. Okay, that is nothing but v of v is equal to w naught plus w1 x1 to w6 x6. Okay, so last two things, whatever we have written, target function and target function representation will take more part in implementation of any learning problem. Okay. Next one is choosing a function approximation algorithm. After designing a problem, after designing its representation, next thing is to decide what algorithm I can use to solve this particular problem. Okay. So to learn the target function, we require a set of training examples here. In any machine learning program, any machine learning problem, we need training examples. So those training examples describe a specific board state and the training value V train of B. Okay. So there will be some board state and there will be some training value. So we represent this training example and this training value with a pair, that is this pair B comma V train of B. So for instance, so following training example describes a board state B in which black has won the game. An example we are taking here. So here a board state B is such that black has won the game. So note that x2 is equals to 0 indicates that red has no remaining pieces. This is the instance here. This is one example we have taken. X1 is equals to 3. So x1 is what here? Number of x1 is what? Number of black pieces. There are 3 black pieces remaining on the board. X2 is number of red pieces, which is 0. So there are no red pieces on the board. So it indicates that what? X2 is 0 indicates there are no red pieces. So black has won the game. Okay. So, and what we are writing here, for which the target function value, that is v train of p, will be plus 100. That is black has won. V train of b is plus 100. Black has won the game. So this is the way how we represent. This b is what? Board state. Board state is represented based on the values of x1 to x6. Remember this. Board states here in checkers problem, board state is represented using the value of x1 to x6, which are nothing but parameters, I can say. You can say these as parameters. This is what? The final value. For this board state, this is the final value, training value, plus 100. Understood this? Understood this? Say yes, no, something. Are you sleeping? All of you. game. Fine. I placed 100. Okay. So next, in the same section, estimating training values. How to estimate the training value? We have estimated here it as 100. Training value is 100 because black has won here, so we have estimated it to 100. It is based on the values of the parameters. X2 is 0, so directly we have taken plus 100. So the only training information available to our learner is whether the game was eventually won or lost. That is only the information what we have. On the other hand, we require training examples that assign specific scores to specific board states. So if we are at the end of the game, that is the only option or information what we have. But if we are in an intermediate, that is in between of the game, we don't have any value to be represented for that. So we need some value, specific score. What is say? We need some specific scores to assign to specific board state in between. So it is easy to assign a value to a board state that correspond to the end of the game, but for in between, for intermediate board states, we cannot. We have less obvious things to assign the value for the intermediate board states. So despite the ambiguity inherent in estimating the training values for intermediate board states, one simple approach has been found to be surprisingly successful. What is that? This one. So how to assign the value for intermediate board state? So that approach is to assign the training value of V train of B for any intermediate board state to be V successor of B. V cap successor of B. So that is V cap here. It is the learner's current approximation to V. And V where successor of B denotes the next board state following B, for which it is again the program's turn to move. So for intermediate board state, this one option we have. So it is nothing but learner's current approximation to V, approximation value. Okay, if the next move has a possibility of winning the game, then we can assign some value, say 90% or 70% or 60%, like this. So that depends on learner's approximation, current approximation. Okay, and the successor of B is nothing but what can be the next board state. What can be the next board state successor? If I move this particular coin now, what can be the next board state? So that based on that, we assign training value for V train of B. So we denote it like V train of B is equals to V cap successor of B. Fine. So then after this, we need to adjust the weights sometimes. How to adjust the weights? So to specify the learning algorithm for choosing the weights Wi to best fit the set of training examples. So first step, we must define what we mean by the best fit to the training data. How to assign the values to Wi's, that is W0 to W6. So one common approach is to define the best hypothesis or a set of weights as that which minimizes the squared error between the training values and the values predicted by the hypothesis we can. So squared error in the sense what here? When we'll be designing the learning system, sometimes there will be an error. Error means we have approximated it to something else and we got the wrong result. So there will be a difference between that. There will be a difference between. I have approximated that I can win the game 90%, But after moving the particular choice, I got 60%. So that 30, 90 minus 60, that is 30. That is nothing but an error. So there are possibility that we may get that particular error. We call it as a squared error. I squared error means we define it like this. E, which stands for error, is equals to, this is summation of what? All training examples. Summation of all training examples into bracket V train of B minus V cap of B bracket square. Since this comes square here, we call it as squared error. Sum of all these. So for every training example, there will be one value. For every training example, there will be one training value. One training value. And there will be one successor of it. That is approximation for the next move. Approximation for the next move. If that training value, if that training value is differs from the whatever value approximated by our learning algorithm, then we call it as training error. If there is no difference, then it is a correct approximation by the algorithm. Got it? Got this squared error? Have you got it? We are calculating the training error. Calculating the error here. How? We are taking the training value and we are subtracting it from the approximated value. The square of that we have taken. So this will be for every training example. That is why the summation is taken here. Okay, summation of all the training examples. Okay, so based on these, we adjust the weights. So several algorithms are there for finding the weights of a linear function that minimize error E defined in this way. So in our case, we require an algorithm that will incrementally refine the weights as the new training examples become available, and that will be robust to errors in these estimated training. Robust to errors means where we are minimizing the errors. So obviously our work is here to minimize the error here. Okay, so we have to choose the best algorithm that suits to minimize the error. So one such algorithm we have here is least mean square training rule, LMS training rule. So here what we do for each observed training example, this algorithm adjusts the weights a small amount in the direction that reduces the error in the training example. Okay, for every training example, this particular LMS, least mean square training rule, will assign a such weights that will reduce the error on a particular training example. So we can view this algorithm as a performing a stochastic gradient. So about this we will discuss in detail in the next chapters, stochastic gradient or all those things. So just remember that we are using the LMS training rule to assign the weights, which will reduce the errors. Okay. So this is our LMS training algorithm. So what we are doing here for each training example, V of V comma V train of V train of B, use current weights to calculate V cap of B. This we have seen already. How to calculate V cap of B. So we are using the current weights to calculate it. Then for each weight, update it as, how to update it? Wi equals to Wi plus eta into bracket v train of v minus v cap of v into xi. So here wi is already given. Well, that is nothing but current weight. It is already given. Eta is a constant value which will be given. Then this is nothing but what? V train of v is, and it is approximated value into xi. Xi is what? Current training example. Okay, xi is current training example. So this we use to calculate the weight. We call it as weight update rule. LMS, least mean square, least mean square weight update rule. Okay, you may get this in the exam for the 6 to 7 months. Okay, eta is a small constant, for example, 0.1 that moderates the size of the weight update. To get intuitive understanding of why this weight update rule works here is error is zero, no weights are changed. If error is zero, no weights are changed. Value, that is v train of v minus v cap of v is positive. Okay, then each weight is increased in proportion to the value of its corresponding feature. If it is positive, the value will be increased. If this value is positive, value will be weight will be increased. Weight will be increased. If it is negative, if it is negative, what? Value will be decreased. Weight will be decreased. Okay? If size is zero, if size its weight is not altered, if I here this it is not any changes, it will continue in the sense of there are no errors. Okay, here xi there will not be any changes in the weight because those are the perfect weights to continue. Okay, so that is the final design. It comes what we do here first in the final design. First we take an experiment generator, then we design a performance system on a new problem. Initial code that will be called initial game board. Then we will be having a critic on the game history, whatever we have played till now. Okay, then there will be a critic section. Based on the critic section, we will write the training examples like this: v1 comma v train of v1, v2 comma v train of v2. Okay, here v1 nothing but board state, v train of v nothing but its value. This is one instance we can say. This is second instance. And there will be a generalizer to based on the bits. And new example come again example come for a new come again this. That is the explanation about all those four states. So this is the summary of programming checkers learning problem till now whatever we have. Type of please again self. Then we have designed the target function. So we have taken we use the bold value to taken representation of target function. We have used the polynomial here that is nothing but using six features x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. Using six features, we have designed the target function, the learning function. Then we have determined the learning algorithm based on using the gradient descent we have done here. Yeah. At the end, we will get the complete design. So this is for checkers learning problem. Similarly, you may get question in the exam to design learning system for a different problem. Say maybe autonomous driving vehicle or some other example. Okay. So perspectives and issues in machine learning, we will see that in the next class. What are the issues and perspectives in machine learning? Fine. So tomorrow again we will have this class, maybe at the same time or different time. So half an hour before I will be telling you half an hour